Hello and welcome to What the Tech from Boast AI, where each week we talk with some of the brilliant minds behind new and exciting tech initiatives to learn what it takes to tackle technological uncertainty and eventually change the world. Today I am thrilled to welcome the founder and CEO of Tuktu Care, Rustam Sengupta. Rustam is a passionate serial entrepreneur with a focus on senior care technology, climate change, and renewable energy. As the founder and CEO of Tuktu Care, an on-demand marketplace that connects aging adults with local providers and companions, he leads innovative solutions for better aging in place. Before Tuktu Care, Rustam worked with SDTC, one of Canada's leading sustainable energy funding organizations, and taught at the University of British Columbia. He also managed research projects for the Initiative for Sustainable Energy Policy at Johns Hopkins University. Rustam also serves on the boards of several impactful organizations and nonprofits, while also serving as executive in residence at the Foresight Cleantech Accelerator in Vancouver, a group that we are big fans of here at Boast. It's an impressive CV, and I cannot wait to pick Rustam's brain on what it takes to achieve success and drive such positive change as an entrepreneur. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Rustam.
Thank you, Paul.
I'd love to hear from you directly. Tell me about Rustam. How did you get into the entrepreneurial space? And tell me a little bit about what brought you from getting that startup itch to where you're at today with Tuktu.
Well, thank you, Paul, for that question. I'm Rustam. I'm based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. And like Paul, you mentioned, we run a platform which connects caregivers to folks who need care, whether you're a senior, whether you're a mom who's just had kids, or whether you have neurodivergent kids. We help you through connecting you with safe, trusted companions from your own neighborhood who can help you with non-medical stuff. Our calling is to create virtual communities that can help each other, and especially take care of the vulnerable. Got into entrepreneurial space quite a while ago. This is my third company. So right out of college, I'd started my first. Before moving to Canada, we started one of India's first solar microgrid companies, which spread across Asia and Africa. And I ran that for about 9 years and exited that in 2016 before moving to Canada and joining SDTC on the investment side. So obviously have an entrepreneurial bug. Two, started with the mission. My folks are aging. They live in Singapore, struggle with aging, and I noticed how difficult it was for them to get help and how lonely and isolated they felt. So we looked around in Vancouver. We saw thousands of people in Vancouver who needed help and who wanted a little bit of companionship, somebody to hang out with. And we created this platform. It does a smart job of matchmaking through an AI. And it finds you the best fit companions based on your language, your preferences, who you want. Companions who can take you out shopping, take you to the doctor, help you around the house, cook your favorite food, or just hang out. And that's what we do.
That is so awesome. It's really about creating a community for people who need some of that support. I love that you gave the mom example too, because I think that's something that, so many folks on our team are single parents or they're just parents who are busy. And I think something like this is a silver bullet for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Personally, my grandmother lived with us when we were growing up, and all of us had to play a part in being a caregiver at one point. And I feel like if we had an opportunity to maybe get somebody in our community who we trusted, who could come in and take some of that weight off of our shoulders, it would have been a lot easier.
Absolutely. Just yesterday, Paul, I was with this wonderful lady, and she has 2 kids, and she's also the CTO or CFO of a company. And you wouldn't believe she was holding one of the 3-year-olds in her hands, and he was fidgety, trying to get away. And she was on a conference call, and she had a little pop-up which was sending messages from a 13-year-old school. I'm like super impressed and amazed how moms multitask. And when she got to know about Tuktu, she was like, wow, this is exactly what I need, because now I can get some rest. I can get some time on my own. And, I know this guy is from the community. I know you've background checked him. I know that you've close fitted him. So he speaks French. She spoke French as well at home. So the kids are going to be comfortable. And that's why we realized this is what we do. This is our calling. Communities are getting further and further apart. There's so much that pull us apart from each other, not to mention workload and different things. So what we're just trying to do is use technology now to bring people together. So yeah, everybody's welcome on the platform, whoever thinks that they need a little bit of companionship and a little bit of help.
I love that. And I'm just going to repeat your golden phrase there: use technology to bring people together. I think a lot of folks say that, but actually seeing how broad and effective that Tuktu Care can be, that is proof in action. Could I ask a little bit about the platform in particular?
Absolutely.
I know we work with you because it is unique innovation. We can talk about that later, but I'd love to know what sets Tuktu apart from maybe other community-based platforms or platforms that are trying to build community. And I would love to pull back too. You know, you had mentioned that vetting and how you really match those community partners with the unique need. Let's chat about that a little.
So, and I think maybe 3 quick points what sets us apart, right? We use technology to retain the same elements of companionship, the same elements of attraction and affinity that you would have. Let's say I'm talking to you directly, Paul, but we try to do that through technology, through AI, through a thorough matchmaking algorithm. So that the premise is that unlike a lot of other agencies which provide age at home and others which use more of a standard operational manual approach, our costs tend to be extremely lower. I would say 40-50% lower than everybody else for the same, even better quality of people who come to help. And that just happens because we've taken out the middle layer of human beings and mimic that using technology. The point that you mentioned about vetting, I mean, this is super important. You wouldn't want anybody who you're not comfortable with stepping into the physical proximity of your loved ones, right? So the vetting process, which is done online, goes into the different databases, does these criminal checks and vulnerability checks for you. And it also looks at sort of social vetting. So where you are, it's a very hyper-local app. People, you can only come in if you're 6 kilometers away from the person or whatnot. And so there's a thorough process which goes into vetting the person who's going to come to your house and matchmaking. And most importantly, on the third point is it retains the data that you give us, right? So let's say your dad loves to play golf, Paul, on Saturdays, and I'm just making it up, but he loves to play golf with, 40-year-old Indian men, and he loves to chat about curry. Those are the kind of vital data that build connection between people. And it'll be impossible for a human being to remember all that. But if a system learns about your dad, so after 2 or 3 tries, it starts getting smarter. It starts sending him people who he likes. It starts curating the conversations with him, the content with him, which is exactly the way he wants it to be. So it just increases happiness, reduces loneliness, and makes things much more affordable for a greater part of the folks who need help.
And I really like that the platform itself is part of what's creating happiness here. It's the experience of helping.
Absolutely. It's a mix of both, right? It's very important to make this care sector affordable. It's really expensive right now. Canada faces an unbelievably difficult problem where just about 10 to 15% of folks who need care can actually afford private care, right? And the government is struggling to provide, universal care and especially non-medical stuff. So we need a solution which is for the mid-market, which is on demand, and which is still safe and high quality. And that's what we're trying to create. Of course, we have the privilege of having latest technology now, which can do a lot of things that we couldn't earlier. But and of course, we rely on folks who are in the community. There's a lot of wonderful people like yourself, Paul, who I'm sure happy to walk down 2 doors and help out, So I think we just try to bring back that sense of community that was there before, but acknowledging that Paul has a busy schedule and he wants somebody to put it on his calendar and send him a reminder, and maybe he needs gas money as well. So that's exactly what we're doing.
You're covering all the bases with this, which is so, so great. And actually, we were I had mentioned earlier, SaaStr, me and some of my team members last week. And so, of course, you wouldn't be surprised to hear it, but AI is everywhere. It's the topic of every conversation. It's also in every business. AI. So we're not immune to that either. But these point-specific and, again, all-encompassing algorithms that are learning and helping people actually accomplish things that they can gain velocity behind are the winners. Tuktu Care is embodying that beautifully. And again, it's why we really like working with you guys, because it's an ethos we share here at Boast. Our integrations are about making it easier to do more the longer you go.
I am excited. Paul. I mean, couple of really important things. Number one, I'll call it, you got a really good team. I could name them, but I don't want to do that because if I forget anybody, but I would say we've been working with your team for now 2 years, and they've been just wonderfully supportive, because for an early stage entrepreneur, it's really hard to express what kind of technology you're building and what's your vision, especially when you're dealing with AI, when you're dealing with stuff that's not that prevalent in the market, right? stuff that's shreddable. And it's a great government program. We love the program, but it's also difficult for an entrepreneur to park some time to really understand what's going on. So I want to give you a compliment first that you got a great team. They're really wonderful people to work with. They really dummied it down for us. What could be shareable, what couldn't be, how we should write it, what were we really doing. And number two, I think I also found the company in general, Paul, yourself included, quite efficient, quite supportive in looking at the bigger picture, right? So the right amount of encouragement, the right amount of reminders and stuff like that to keep us disciplined. So again, thank you so much. And I'd love to compliment your whole team. And hopefully we'll keep working together, right?
We love working with you. The feeling is mutual, especially when we can learn from our clients too. It's been a two-way street. It's everyone across our organization. I'm in marketing and I have a direct line of communication with our TSM team, with the people who are actually building these claim reports, because we want to make sure we know everything and that we can not just help you guys more effectively, but we're going to build a better solution at the same time because we're in the ecosystem with you. We're bumping elbows at the same time. So I am so happy to hear that you're happy with us. 2 years and counting. We're off to the races. We're going to keep it going for you and make sure that we can maximize all of it. Knocking on wood. But yeah, all right. Rustam, before we go, I'd love to know any events on your calendar, anything we should look forward to in terms of what's next for Tuktu Care?
Yeah, so what's next with couple of big things and want to announce. One is we've just started operations in San Diego, US. So that's a big one. Canadian company entering US. That's exciting. We are here to prove that the model of care that we've done and the thousands of customers who validated us in Canada, that works in US as well. US also has the same issues of social isolation, of aging, of people needing help, but in multiple magnitudes, right? So we're here to prove that companion care using technology does work. And of course, the second point is we will be starting our next fundraising round. So if anybody's interested to join this movement to really transform how the care industry is working, then drop me a line.
I love it. Join the movement, everybody. This is a good one to get behind. Again, if you want to feel good about yourself in the long run, because this is a key problem. I love it. Rustam, I cannot thank you enough. This was an absolute pleasure.